Welcome back for the third video in this mini-series on art journaling here at the library. Now, since the last time, you can probably see that my workspace has a lot more stuff on it, and while I usually try to advocate for a clean, uncluttered workspace, today the clutter actually does have a purpose. The other thing you might notice is that, you might be able to see it from there, but I've started adding some things into my test book here. I'm using this kind of to try out different materials and also try different paper sizes, ideas and things like that, and also to kind of keep track of the stuff that I've shown and been talking about in these videos so far. And one of the nice things, of course, because we're using this binding style with the rubber bands, I can really move things around. I can take things out if I want, put them back in a different spot, in a different order, anything like that. And it also makes it a lot easier to add new pages. So today I want to kind of talk about and work on, oh, this has some stuff on it, cool. Today I want to talk about and work on using what I call ephemera. Which is a real word. I don't have the definition on me right now, but in this sense, it's using the items that are around you in your daily spaces. There's this idea of junk journaling where you collect things from your junk mail, advertisements, magazines that you get sent, anything like that, and like pasting it together and seeing the things in it that catch your eye, and just having those collected together can start to create a really interesting narrative after a while of, here are the things that I like to look at, here are the things that draw me in, even if it's just, you know, I'm cutting out every picture I see of a dog whenever I see a dog in a magazine. So today I have a bunch of stuff. I have so much stuff today. I really like this black paper as a base. This is cardstock. It's a little bit heavier than typical printer paper, but you can still run this through a printer. Obviously you can't run black through a printer because you're not going to get inks to show up on it, but hey ho. Also for tools, I have a pair of scissors. I have a glue stick. I have a little ruler over here because those can be useful. I have a bunch of pencils, my mug of pencils, and I have some miscellaneous markers from our marker supply here in the teen department. And in here there's like these dot markers, and I thought these might be kind of fun to play around with and add to my pages. So I also then have a pile of test papers from while I've been developing this program. And I think I want to see what I can do with some of these and add them into our page today, little by little. So let's see. First off, I'm going to start with some black paper because I know this is going to give me that nice base that I want. Go ahead and fold it in half and see if we can get a clean edge on this. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay. I guess one of the first things I'm curious about is to see if these dot pens, they're ink, but I want to know if they show up on this black, and it looks like they do. So maybe these are not actually like ink, but they are some sort of painted ink. Although I can see as it dries, it's definitely fading and sinking into the paper. Big dots. The way that this is like, you can probably kind of see it, the way that this has dried, where you have this light area around the outside and then this dark circle in the middle, makes me think of grapes for some reason. I know there's not really going to be much I can do with this dark paper, so I'll use this as like a blank base for anything that I want to put on top of it. Now, I cut this out of a recycled comic Something that's always worth like looking at is what can you recycle and reuse in these. Since I work here at the library, we have materials that will get thrown away every now and then because they are in really poor condition. They've been very well loved for a very long time, and they do start to fall apart. So what we'll do is we'll get a new copy if it's something that goes out a lot, and then that old copy, if it's too badly damaged, it will get recycled in one way or another. And one of the ways that I like to recycle old materials is seeing how I can cut them up and use them in art projects. We had a Garfield book that was going to the trash because it was like coming unglued. It was not the sort of book that we could repair easily, so we just got a new one, I think. But the old one, I was like, hey, there's some nice like letter effects and stuff like that in this, and I'm gonna grab it to at least like look at using for this art journaling project and talk about collages and stuff like that. Sometimes it is just a matter of like putting things down on paper and just having that experience of like working with a tactile object and gluing it down and then having like things get built up over time. This was a test, so you remember from learning how to do foam stamps in our last video. This was one of the testers that I did before making that video to see how the process actually went, and to see if it was something that I could like really show people how to do. So I've got these, and what color is this? This is like a green. Oh no, it's not. This is like black. Okay. Oh yeah, I guess it does have like a black dot on the end. I don't really know like what I'm doing necessarily with this. I just know that I'm doing something with it. And sometimes that's kind of the point. It's less about knowing what you're doing and more about being curious and being open to what could you do with something and what does it look like when you start playing with it and like having fun and just kind of messing around to see the sort of results that you might get. Okay, that's like something. What happens if I use like some yellow on this? So something else that's really fun to play around with is figuring out how to make things look aged or stressed, as it's often called. And I still see a lot of it where like people want that imperfect look that like it looks like it has been through the wear a little bit, it has been loved a little bit, even if it is like a brand new object. There's a point where it's kind of kitschy, but I think adding like a little bit of wear and tear stuff is still kind of fun. I like learning how to, like, one of the things that's really fun to do with these is learning how to use different materials together to make them, see how they work together and like see how I can use them in other applications down the line. So even just like understanding how these markers layer on paper and how the different colors interact with each other and be able to go like, okay, I understand this a little bit better than I did before. Now I can maybe do something with that on a bigger project and be like, okay, I've made this thing now. Let's see. So I have this. Ooh, that was still wet. So that's something else to always pay attention to is whether your materials are dry or not. This ink was not dry yet and I just smudged it all over my hand. So that happened. And really, it's just a process of thinking about how you can use the things that are around you in your day-to-day life. Or the things that catch your eye, the things that grab you. But in any case, like, let's make this a little like lion person if we can. So I guess something else that's always worth talking about is building your toolbox. I may have already kind of gone into building a toolbox by now. I'm not super sure. I'll have to go back and look at my videos. But your toolbox is going to be the stuff that you use to make things. And it can be as varied or as simple as you like. That is entirely up to you. It's up to what you like and how you want to work and what you want to play around with. I always keep at least like a pen and a pencil and like some sort of paper in my toolbox. And then also some different markers, ways to add color to things. So like stamp pads, pens, like pens like Sharpie pens sort of things, or Crayola markers or anything like that. It's kind of like different ways to get an idea down on the page. And then I always want something sticky that I can use to stick stuff to other stuff. This usually looks like me getting some tape or some glue. And there are a bunch of different types of glue that you can use. Of course, you can use something like a glue stick, which we have here. You can also use glue like Mod Podge, which is a Mod Podge is like it's like Elmer's glue, I guess is kind of the closest comparison. Mod Podge is easiest to work with a brush, like with a soft sponge brush or something like that, like the sort of thing you'd use there. Mod Podge is really good as like a sealant. I've used it to finish off artist trading cards and other small things like that. You can put it onto canvas like to help protect the paint underneath it, but it is going to have a texture to it depending on what sort of brush you use with it. I think you can also use Mod Podge as like a water resist, a color resist on something like watercolor paper. However, there are much better things that are made for that, and it's always worth like using the tool that's actually designed for the job.
So while I was thinking about it, I also wanted to give you a quick flip through of what the art journaling book we have here in the library looks like. You can also, of course, come and check this out and take a better look at it for yourself. It's been a really nice resource for this video.
Okay, so I've cleaned up my space a little bit, and to wrap up, I'm going to put some of these things together and add them into my book, and then go out into the world and see what else I can find to put into it. Of course, this is also very easily expandable. You should have some rubber bands in your kit, but also you can always add more onto it very easily. An extra here, just around the cover like so, down to that spine, and yep, expandable storage. Analog expandable storage. Very easy. So yeah, I mean, this is like just kind of starting to be something, but after, you know, a month of collecting things and putting little ideas into here, I'd be really interested to see like what this started to look like. And as such, this project for you is some foundations, some starting points, some places where you can expand on these ideas on your own and explore them and see what else you find, what else grabs you. I've included a list with some online resources, places where you can buy and find different materials, a website where that has different techniques and tutorials for using various sort of mediums. And yeah, be curious and explore with your creativity and like see what comes to you and see what catches your eye, because there's a lot of stuff out there and there's a lot of ways to interpret this and a lot of things to play with. I've been Jo. This has been the first mini-series for a virtual program on doing and starting art journals. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you sometime next month. Bye!